俺は悪魔だぞ。それでも俺を愛せるわけないだろ。
それでも好きなの。私は本気であなたを愛してる。だから必ず証明してみせる。
The story opens on a tranquil seaside village under a clear blue sky. In a nearby rice paddy, a person is seen working diligently in the sun. A small, furry creature resembling a raccoon dog peeks out from the dense undergrowth. A traditional Japanese house stands peacefully amidst the trees as birds chirp. Inside, a white-haired girl with demonic features sleeps soundly, identified as Demon King Noah. She awakens with a massive, dramatic stretch in her sunlit room. Now wearing an apron, she offers a sleepy but formal greeting to her lord. A young man with glasses turns from the stove, warmly wishing Noah a good morning. He asks her to wait just a moment while he prepares one more dish for their meal. Suddenly inspired, Noah fiercely declares that she will also contribute to the cooking. She energetically washes a handful of wild greens in a pot of boiling water. With intense concentration, she clumsily chops the greens, watched by a panicked Hayato. Hayato steps in, expertly adding a dressing to her roughly chopped vegetables. Their finished meal is served, and they both give thanks before beginning to eat. Hayato nervously takes the first tentative bite of the special side dish. He struggles to chew but insists it's edible, noting her lack of cooking skill. Noah watches him intently as they continue their meal in the quiet room. His eyes suddenly fly open as he makes the shocking declaration that they are married. His mind flashes to the idyllic countryside, finding the situation unbelievable. Noah, mid-bite, is equally stunned, questioning a marriage to the Demon King. Her thoughts drift back, recalling the recent events that led to this moment. The flashback begins several days prior, showing a patch of wild snakeberries. Hayato observes the berries, noting they are surprisingly ripe for early summer. He comments on their delicious appearance, despite them being a bit dusty. An idea strikes him to make jam for a project with his school class. He turns to head home, but is stopped by a strange cracking sound in the air. Puzzled by the noise, he looks around in confusion. The sky suddenly shatters like glass, and a bound girl plummets towards him. She lands in a heap and makes eye contact with the stunned Hayato. Hayato stares in utter bewilderment at the impossible sight before him. Noah quickly frees herself, annoyed that her pursuers have found her so soon. She notices the local human, and he nervously introduces himself as Yamada Hayato. With theatrical flair, she announces herself as the Demon King Noah Moa Alea. Hayato's mind reels, picturing a monstrous beast when he hears the title Demon King. He finds it hard to believe such a beautiful girl could be so terrifying. He recalls how she tore through space, realizing she is genuinely dangerous. As a teacher, his protective instincts kick in, and he resolves to defend his town. He nervously asks the Demon King what business she has in their peaceful countryside. She explains that as the Demon King who governs destruction, she is here for a purpose. With great power, she declares she has come to witness the destruction of this countryside. Hayato panics, thinking she means to bring ruin and chaos upon them. He looks around at the quiet, desolate atmosphere of the area. His eyes land on an abandoned car being reclaimed by overgrown weeds. Noah blissfully declares her love for the decaying countryside, feeling its hospitality. Hayato is confused by her words, asking if she wants to be loved or destroyed. She looks away, contemplating his question with a hint of sadness. A brief flicker of vulnerability shows on her face as she thinks. Hayato gathers his thoughts, preparing to respond to her confusion. He gently suggests that if she can find happiness in a beautiful end, it's okay. His kind and profound words strike her with the force of a revelation. Her expression shifts to one of shock and utter disbelief. Her face flushes a deep red, her eyes swirling with incomprehensible emotions. She stammers, asking if his strange statement was meant to be creepy. Completely flustered, she admits she knows nothing about matters of romance. She thinks that while she wants him to see her end, a proposal is too much. Hayato is left completely baffled by her intense and unexpected reaction. Noah decides to accept what she perceives as his passionate plea of love. Hayato, still lost, wonders what exactly he did to cause this. The flashback ends, returning to the present day and their supposed marriage. Hayato reflects on his lonely country life before meeting her. Noah joyfully kicks her feet, declaring her good fortune was a complete windfall. Hayato's mind is still stuck on the terrifying implications of the title Demon King. He imagines a monstrous version of her about to devour him whole. His dark thoughts are interrupted by a sudden, startling realization. Noah panics, exclaiming that her favorite honey rice crackers are almost gone. She clutches the nearly empty bag in utter despair. Hayato calmly suggests they can have them for dessert after their meal. She recalls eating the crackers every day when she first arrived in this land. Hayato suggests they go to the candy shop after they finish eating. His mention of the Dagashiya fills him with a sense of purpose. They walk down a quiet road surrounded by dense, lush forest. A small farm vehicle makes its way along a dirt path in the distance. A majestic heron stands watchfully amidst a field of tall green grass. Noah is ecstatic about visiting a candy shop, calling it a form of hospitality. She believes the country is full of this wonderful rustic charm. She excitedly spots a building she believes is the candy shop. Hayato gently corrects her, pointing out that it's a coin-operated rice mill. Noah reflects on her own childlike innocence as a powerful demon king. Hayato worries about what married life with a demon king will truly entail. He looks over at her, still processing the unbelievable situation. He recalls his supposed proposal, which he never actually intended to make. His train of thought is broken when Noah suddenly and playfully grabs him. With a wide, energetic grin, she urges her lord to hurry up and go. He is charmed by her cute expression and decides to go along with it for now. A montage shows him being swept up in her chaotic pace for several days. As they walk, Hayato suddenly stops, a look of dawning realization on his face. They arrive at Fukuda Shoten, which Noah excitedly proclaims is the candy shop. Hayato, having finally regained his senses, prepares to set the record straight. Noah loudly praises the building's wonderfully rustic and dilapidated charm. He explains that it's a general store that sells sweets, not a specialty shop. Inside, the store is filled with various household goods on cluttered shelves. A freezer case holds a variety of ice cream treats for sale. Brooms and other cleaning supplies hang near shelves of snacks and food. Noah finds the slightly decaying atmosphere wonderful, and Hayato agrees. Hayato wistfully recalls that there used to be more shops like this in his youth. Noah holds a bag of her favorite honey crackers, listening thoughtfully. She agrees that such places seem to be steadily disappearing over time. An elderly shopkeeper with a kind, warm smile greets them from behind the counter. She notes that she hasn't seen Hayato in a while and asks if he's a local. In a gesture of small-town hospitality, she offers him a piece of her snack. An elderly shopkeeper and a young man, Hayato, share a pleasant exchange. Noah questions why Hayato, a local, is unfamiliar with the shopkeeper. The old woman turns her attention to Noah, asking who she is. With a wide-fanged grin, Noah suddenly declares she is Hayato's wife. The shopkeeper is delighted by the news, while Hayato panics at the claim. Hayato watches as Noah's triumphant expression begins to fade away. Her demeanor changes completely as she meekly asks where the Dagashi are. Noah's eyes light up with wonder at the chaotic, colorful candy corner. She asks which snack her husband ate, wanting to try the very same one. Hayato reminisces fondly, admitting he ate many different kinds as a child. His gaze is suddenly captured by something even more exciting than the sweets. He points out a lottery-style game for bouncy super balls, noting its appeal. Holding a prize, he explains it's a game of chance to win better ones. Hayato proudly boasts that he once won the second best prize from this game. A competitive fire ignites in Noah, who vows to win the top prize. With a powerful shout of destruction, she makes her dramatic selection. She pulls out the number 01 ticket, much to Hayato's surprise. Feeling smug, Noah believes she has just demonstrated her immense power. The shopkeeper reveals the number 1 prize was already mistakenly claimed. Hayato presents her with the consolation prize, a tiny, unimpressive bead. Noah stares at the pathetic prize with utter disdain as Hayato yawns. He finds the situation amusing, remarking that such things happen in the countryside. Suddenly, a strange, one-eyed demonic object emerges from the prize machine. Noah is shocked, realizing the legendary Mother Ball has actually appeared. As tentacles sprout, she warns him it's a demon's head, not a toy. The creature grows larger, which Noah notes is a fitting prize for a demon lord. Hayato clutches his head in despair, realizing the good vibe was a bad omen. He panics about the creature hatching and ruining his budding romance. His mind spirals, thinking of what Noah likes: destruction, ruin, and collapse. Noah tells him to calm the creature's anger, as it's not a real ball. He presents a nostalgic snack, explaining he ate it constantly in middle school. He admits that he ate so many variations that he eventually got sick of them. Declaring it the best for its value, he prepares to eat one himself. With intense concentration, he pops the crunchy snack into his mouth. He chews thoughtfully, savoring the flavor with a newfound appreciation. He proclaims that he's chasing a nostalgic taste, which Noah should appreciate. Moved to tears, Noah misinterprets this as a profound act of love for her. Hayato points out other prize-winning snacks, suggesting she try her luck again. Noah is shocked by the concept of a destruction desire prize on a cheap item. She vows to win the next prize, using her clairvoyance to make the mother ball vanish. As she focuses her power, a memory of a past event begins to surface. The memory is of Hayato, his face gentle yet filled with determination. She recalls wondering why he had been so kind to her back then. In the flashback, she was bound as he stood before a shattered sky. He had called her, the Demon Lord, beautiful in that decisive moment. He had then promised to deliver the entire countryside to her. She remembers feeling a powerful sense of envy at his grand words. Back in the present, Hayato declares his true desire is not just destruction. He reveals he wants the limited edition Extinction Animal card from the biscuits. Noah urges him to buy the entire stock, not leaving it to mere chance. He gathers the boxes and calls out to the shopkeeper to ring them up. As the elderly woman turns, she suddenly stumbles and collapses to the floor. Hayato rushes to her side in a panic, asking if she is okay. She reassures him, explaining that her back has been hurting her lately. With a weary look, she muses that it might finally be time to close the shop. Hayato is visibly concerned by her words, his expression becoming troubled. He cheerfully offers to handle her deliveries for the day to help her out. A transition panel indicates a shift in location and the passage of time. They are now walking down a quiet country road on their delivery route. Hayato struggles under the weight of a heavy box, panting with the effort. The shopkeeper apologizes for the trouble as Noah walks calmly alongside them. Despite the strain, Hayato insists that a task of this level is fine. He apologizes for making Noah come along, but she looks thoughtful. Noah offers her assistance, stating that helping people is a good thing to do. She turns to him, seriously asking if the shop is the town's lifeline. Hayato is taken aback by her sudden and unexpectedly profound question. Noah wonders if keeping it open is just delaying its decline for the children. She gets closer, asking if it's not more beautiful to let it fade naturally. She argues that the flow of decline cannot be stopped, and it's better that way. Hayato listens, his expression unreadable as he processes her philosophy. Noah stares at him intently, awaiting his response to her challenging idea. He confesses he never used to think about trying to save his hometown. He stands on the path, beginning to explain his change of heart to her. He admits he once hated how old-fashioned it was before moving to the city. Upon returning, he found himself thinking that old things weren't so bad after all. He explains with a warm smile that what he truly likes is this way of living. He describes life as people creating, eating, and repairing things together. He doesn't want to fight decline, but rather wants to let it fade gently. She clasps her hands, wondering what lies beyond the end of this era. Back in the store, they both agree the atmosphere has a nice fading quality. Noah sadly states that they might not be able to visit this store again. Her eyes widen in complete shock as he begins to respond to her. Hayato declares passionately that he wants to visit many similar places with her. He wants to go again and again before they all disappear from the world. Noah's initial shock gives way to a tiny, sharp-toothed grin. The grin spreads into a wide, triumphant smile as she understands his intent. He is startled as she prepares to respond to his heartfelt confession. He reaches out and firmly takes her hand, his grip full of emotion. He calls out her name, his voice filled with sincere feeling. She responds with a booming, villainous laugh, overwhelming him completely. High in the sky, Noah carries a flustered Hayato, asking if he has complaints. She suggests they finish their delivery route, a playful grin on her face. Hayato gazes down at the countryside, feeling a sudden sense of loss. He reflects on how he wanted to visit that disappearing store with her again. He loves the beauty of ruin, but his feelings are now more complicated. He looks up at Noah, his expression filled with newfound determination. A single word escapes his lips, a precursor to his sudden request. He blurts out a desperate plea, asking to propose to her one more time. Noah is caught completely off guard, turning to look at him in shock. Her face is a picture of stunned disbelief as she exclaims in surprise. Hayato recalls a past moment, remembering his desire to witness the countryside's ruin with her. He admits his initial proposal was unintentional, but now he truly means it. With desperate sincerity, he asks for the chance to give her a proper proposal. Noah calmly reassures him, revealing she had accepted his unspoken feelings back then. He is completely stunned to learn how deeply his words had moved her. She confesses to following her heart, thinking a life together would be wonderful. A confident, fanged grin shows her complete certainty in that past decision. With a faint blush, Noah agrees to accept his serious proposal this time. Overjoyed, he takes her hand and affirms his commitment with a resounding yes. Soaring through the sky, he passionately calls her name, ready to begin his confession. He begins by listing her flaws, calling her a terrible cook, which earns an annoyed glare. Despite her quirks, he desires a simple, everyday life with the thrilling demon lord. He pictures them drying persimmons in the autumn and preparing pickled plums. Their future together includes lazing on the veranda and helping with the rice harvest. He expresses a wish to visit the candy store and have her teach him everything. Acknowledging her love for Ruin, he explains that he wants to see more than just that. He believes what she truly wants to witness is the entirety of their life together. He passionately explains their shared memories will make the eventual end beautiful. For a moment, Noah is left utterly speechless by his heartfelt declaration. A wide, delighted grin spreads across her face as she prepares to accept his offer. She grandly offers him the reward of living eternally within her being. The tension breaks as they both erupt into joyous, unrestrained laughter. While flying, Noah reflects on his words, agreeing Ruin is defined by what came before. She gazes down at him, realizing this connection is what makes Ruin feel so beautiful. Hayato admits that he now feels a certain conflict within himself. He confesses that watching her has become the most beautiful sight of all for him. Their romantic flight is shattered as they suddenly realize they are completely lost. A tiny thought bubble reveals his gratitude for seeing a building. Far below, two small birds chirp on a roof, oblivious to their aerial plight. Back in their home, Noah is completely overwhelmed by the simple countryside life. Hayato wonders to himself how the Demon Lord could have ended up like this. During a meal, she playfully offers him a bite from her own chopsticks. He explains the town's strange system of using her power for snack deliveries. A new chapter begins with Hayato walking along a quiet country road. Upon arriving home, he receives a cheerful welcome from Noah and another demonic woman. The second chapter's title is revealed, Countryside and Gomen Bath. Noah dutifully asks if he would prefer to have dinner first or a bath. A mischievous grin appears as she suggests she has another idea for him. She excitedly presents a wriggling countryside monster, which horrifies him. She explains that wild creatures like a raccoon dog coexist with them here. To him, the strange ghost-like creature feels more like a curse. Noah proudly reveals a giant salamander, calling it a nice horribitarity. The strange monster and the salamander are presented as a collaboration. She is moved to tears by its charm, while he imagines a cat on a turtle. The two creatures stand together, ready for the next part of the day. After being healed by the monster, she cheerfully announces a bath is next. With a gleeful laugh, she leads him outside toward the bathing area. With a flourish, she unveils a massive, old-fashioned Gomen-style cauldron bath. She passionately praises its rustic charm and profound horribitarity. He simply notes her fondness for old things, wondering where she acquired it. She dramatically recounts finding the abandoned cauldron and wanting it for herself. She explains that she traded a rare and powerful demon world item for it. The laborious process of heating the bath begins with a splash of water. Water overflows and hisses as the fire underneath the cauldron roars to life. Noah watches the fire with serene satisfaction, calling it a beautiful final moment. Hayato notes the 5-hour wait is a mere instant in her long demonic lifespan. He checks the water temperature as she soaks contentedly in the steaming tub. He insists that she should have been the first one in after the long wait. While tending the fire, he reflects on how he's recently gotten used to kerosene. His hand carefully adds another piece of firewood to the roaring stove. Noah muses that the floating sensation in the deep tub feels completely natural. He agrees it's fine if she enjoys it, since she seems to love it so much. From the window, her expression sours at his casual tone. She defensively asks if he is implying it isn't a prime example of horribitarity. He becomes flustered, admitting it's a shock to hear his old things called ruined. After her bath, a blushing Noah appears happy and refreshed. He finds her adorable as she opens the fridge, likely for a post-bath treat. She considers the possibility of ice cream, but notes it could take a week to arrive. He resolves that tonight is the night he will finally use the bath after her. He admits that he has been too self-conscious and has been taking showers instead. Steeling his nerves, he decides to get in the bath without overthinking it. Just as he is about to enter, a hand suddenly grabs the back of his shirt. Noah observes that his stomach seems to have shrunk, a concerned look on her face. She firmly declares that he should eat his meal before taking his bath. She reveals a massive, elaborate horobaterity feast fit for a Heian-era aristocrat. She proudly presents a towering bowl of white rice, explaining it's from the house. Despite her reputation as a terrible cook, the food looks surprisingly delicious. He is deeply moved, realizing she must have worked incredibly hard just for him. With a happy blush, he prepares to take his first appreciative bite. He notes that the flavor is a significant improvement over her usual cooking. A simple, traditional Japanese meal is spread neatly across the low table. Sitting opposite each other, they press their hands together and give thanks. He takes a thoughtful bite of his miso soup, calmly savoring the flavor. Hayato continues to eat his meal, unaware of her intense focus on him. Across the table, Noah watches his reaction with a look of nervous anticipation. She thinks back on how she decided to learn to cook for him. With a pleased, gentle smile, she admits that cooking is a genuine challenge. He keeps eating his food, completely unfazed by her dramatic inner monologue. She imagines her more bombastic demon lord self, questioning the need for such tasks. After all, she could just command her minions to do everything for her. In a flashback, his hand clenches with a grim sense of determination. He recoils in shock from a memory of a past culinary disaster. A bowl of grotesque purple bubbling fruits is presented to him. Noah looks on with panic, admitting that it is her failure dish. With intense resolve, he bravely plunges his chopsticks into the mysterious food. She yells at him, frantically pleading with him to spit it out immediately. He forces it down, tears streaming from his eyes in a silent battle. With strained conviction, he manages to declare that the dish is delicious. Back in the present, he slumps over, confessing it was not delicious at all. Noah recalls her struggles with cleaning, aided by a small, dust-covered ghost. A hand adds a dark powder to a simmering bowl, a difficult challenge undertaken for another. He asks if she isn't happy about his efforts, but she looks back, not fully understanding. She erupts passionately, declaring her happiness in trying, even with her clumsiness. He earnestly explains that she does not have to force herself to act like a wife. He clarifies that her cherishing their life together is what truly makes him happy. Her expression softens, deeply touched by his sincere and heartfelt words. With a sly, fanged grin, she decides she must now plan the menu for tomorrow. He beams with pure happiness, seeing her return to her usual energetic self. He suggests that if she teaches him, perhaps he could try cooking for her too. Looking at the meal, he notes his simple cooking lacks her unique horobaterity charm. She playfully questions if his simple meal might also have its own form of horobaterity. He smiles, explaining that he cooks simply because he enjoys the process. He expresses that her living this life with him is a joy that should be savored. She looks down, softly agreeing with his sentiment about their shared time. A quiet moment of peaceful understanding passes between them at the dinner table. Resting her head on her arms, she thinks happily about their horobaterity-filled life. He agrees that if this is what it means for things to perish, it's perfectly fine. He reflects on how the demon lord he once loathed has come to feel this way. Heavy rain begins to fall, lashing against a large, isolated countryside house. At a window, he notes the sudden downpour that was not in the weather forecast. He muses on the local intuition for rain, which he lacks, before noticing someone outside. Noah appears suddenly, calling out his name with a wide smile, much to his surprise. A title page shows them waiting together at a rustic, rain-soaked bus stop. She explains she came to the school because she thought he might need an umbrella. He thanks her for her thoughtfulness, but is surprised to see she only brought one. His mind races with the romantic possibility of sharing an umbrella, a legendary scenario. Her hand grips the umbrella's handle as a strange, crackling energy gathers. With a dramatic flourish, she opens the umbrella, revealing its monstrous, demonic nature. He stares in utter shock at the crackling, leering artifact she now holds. Her black-nailed fingers clench tightly around the demonic umbrella's wooden handle. The umbrella pulses with a powerful, ominous energy as she holds it aloft. She proudly presents her demon tool 666, the flower umbrella of hell. Her face flushes with embarrassment when he rejects her demonic tool for his plain one. He frantically offers his own umbrella, suggesting she use the bigger demonic one. They ultimately exchange umbrellas and walk side by side in the pouring rain. He is deeply moved that she would go to such lengths just to bring him an umbrella. Overcome with emotion, he calls her kind and thoughtful gesture the King of Kings. Lost in his feelings, he says aloud that she should go back to the demon world for a bit. He sees her reaction and immediately realizes his words have been misunderstood. He stands alone in the dark, holding his umbrella, grappling with his mistake. He shouts in a panic, desperately trying to take back what he just said. He frantically clarifies he only meant for her to go and pick up her luggage. She denies thinking he wanted to kill her, equally flustered by the exchange. She explains she would only be going back to the demon world to get her things. He asks when she plans to go, and she reassures him that she will return immediately. A sly, teasing glint appears in her eyes as she asks if he likes being restrained. He is completely flustered, denying her accusation and calling her creepy. She explains that she can't help it, not since she herself was restrained. He is shocked by her revelation, questioning what she means by restrained. His mind flashes back to the moment she first appeared, bound and gagged. A memory shows her surrounded by shadowy figures in a magically sealed box. She boasts that while the seal was meant for 3 days, she broke free instantly. She touches her lips, blushing as she remembers the moment he kissed her. Her eyes flash with power as she claims she could break the seal in seconds. He reflects on his carelessness, fearing he might have lost her forever. He hunches over in the rain, overwhelmed by the weight of this realization. She remarks that the rain enhances the horribility, but he is still troubled. The rain pours down on the quiet, sprawling countryside fields and houses. A small Jizo statue sits peacefully in its shrine, washed by the steady rain. He looks at an old abandoned school, determined that it will not perish yet. She declares the rain-veiled world is hinting at the land's eventual demise. The overwhelming chorus of frogs from the rice paddies surrounds them. The sheer volume of the frog chorus seems to physically push them back. He complains that the countryside is supposed to be quiet, but the paddies are too noisy. A large Japanese wrinkled frog lets out a powerful, resonating croak. The sound of the frog seems to rain down on their umbrellas from all directions. Walking on a guardrail, he laments that the countryside isn't as quiet as he thought. He clarifies that it is a bit quieter around their house, being near the sea. She counters that even the city isn't truly quiet, with boat and wave sounds at night. A palpable sense of distance seems to exist between them under the umbrellas. She looks ahead, her expression thoughtful and perhaps a little distant. Her attention is suddenly caught by a large, beautiful bloom of hydrangeas. He stops and comments on the magnificent beauty of the hydrangea bushes. He notes their unique horribility, a beauty tied to their fleeting existence. A small snail perched on a leaf seems to listen in on their philosophical discussion. The snail sits on a wet leaf, a silent observer of the rainy scene. The snail appears to ask a question, and she muses about building a mobile castle there. She proudly proclaims her own countless demon castles embody this same horribility. He listens to her, his expression turning sorrowful at her words. He imagines her returning to the demon world, leaving him with only beautiful memories. As if reading his mind, she turns and softly tells him that it's not like that. She explains that her home is here now, and this is the place she returns to. He is stunned into silence by her heartfelt and unexpected declaration. Turning her back, she vows to return to her husband even if he goes far away. He shouts with conviction that he will not let her go back. She spins around furiously, yelling at him not to worry about her. He asks which she means, and she insists she means neither of his propositions. She reasons that since they are a married couple, this is how it should be. He blushes, agreeing with her assessment of their complicated relationship. The wind and rain intensify, battering them as they stand together. His own umbrella suddenly snaps shut with a sharp, definitive sound. She glances over at his predicament, her expression unreadable. Soaked but resolute, he suggests they go home together under her umbrella. Her expression shifts to one of smug amusement as she tells him he's wrong. They walk away together as he asks about her luggage from the demon world. A new chapter begins, focusing on the countryside and a local god. Their journey takes them to the entrance of a weathered old Shinto shrine. As they approach, her demonic senses are immediately alerted to a presence. She mutters about the damn evil spirits, sensing the shrine's supernatural energy. Her annoyance turns to wide-eyed shock as she beholds the main shrine building. Hayato looks around the shrine, noting he's never been here despite his frequent walks. Noah is overwhelmed, calling the place an extreme example of chaotic horribility. He explains his grandfather told him to report his marriage to the local god, the Ujigami. Hayato feels it's better to be on the side that is remembered by the gods. At the purification fountain, he begins the ritual by cleansing his hands with water. He then demonstrates the next step, which is rinsing one's mouth. Noa watches with curiosity, remarking on the interesting nature of the ceremony. Suddenly, she slams her hand on the basin, shouting for him to wait. A girl in a school uniform appears, authoritatively telling them to stop. Noa, now dressed as a shrine maiden, insists she is not one. With fangs bared, Noa furiously accuses Hayato of having an affair. The girl explains the water is undrinkable due to a recent quality inspection. She calls the shrine a strange place for a date, making Noa flinch. The girl notes that while the place is empty, a god is likely still present. Hayato rings the bell at the main shrine building to get the god's attention. He instructs Noa to copy his actions, and she agrees with focused determination. They both perform 2 deep bows in perfect synchronization before the offering box. Next, they clap their hands twice in unison, continuing the prayer ritual. Hayato brings his hands together, closing his eyes in silent prayer. As he prays, Noa looks over at him, a blush creeping onto her cheeks. They complete the ritual with a final single bow, their backs to the viewer. From the shrine's roof, a small voice wonders if their prayer reached the Ujigami. Hayato feels a sudden connection to the land and whispers Noa's name. Noa reacts with a flustered expression, seemingly feeling the shift in energy. She is suddenly jolted forward, and Hayato asks what happened in surprise. A small, winged child has appeared, now sitting playfully on Noa's back. Hayato stares in shock and disbelief at the child's sudden appearance. The child cheekily pokes Noa's leg, while a girl wonders if she's a local kid. Noa recognizes the child with serious intensity, identifying her as the local god. The child puffs out her chest, exuding a powerful divine aura. She loudly declares her identity as the god of this land, Kamohashirano Mikoto Naruzo. Toneri calmly pats the god's head, asking if she wants to go home. Kamohashi unleashes a burst of divine punishment in a flash of light. She angrily declares that Toneri is the most disrespectful person she knows. The god proclaims she will never approve of a demon lord marrying in her sacred domain. Noa smugly holds the struggling god, who protests that she was tricked. Hayato tries to calm them down, his hands up in a placating gesture. He smiles, calling Noa a kind and wonderful demon lord, much to Toneri's confusion. Kamohashi shouts that a human and a demon can't be together. Noa retorts that it's too late, as they are already husband and wife. The god issues a challenge, demanding they prove their love through their actions. If they succeed, she promises to recognize them as the lords of this land. Noa confidently accepts, grabbing Hayato and declaring she will show their love. She stands with her arms open, ready for an embrace from a hesitant Hayato. Instead, he gently pats her on the head in an affectionate gesture. Noa closes her eyes, blushing deeply and enjoying the gentle head pat. Toneri looks on, completely baffled by what is happening between the couple. Kamohashi is equally confused and annoyed by their simple display of affection. Noa narrows her eyes, declaring that now it is her turn to act. She grabs Hayato and pulls him into a forceful, biting kiss. Overwhelmed with bliss, he thanks the god, while Noa admits it was embarrassing. Toneri is knocked off her feet by the sheer force of the moment. Kamohashi roars that it's not over yet and she won't let them win so easily. She tearfully tells Toneri that this concerns the god's very dignity. Amidst crumbling statues, she declares if they can do this, she will approve. With manic intensity, she points and yells for them to try kissing for real. Hayato and Noa are both stunned into silence by the sudden, intense demand. Kamohashi insists that if their love is real, they should be able to do it. Hayato turns to Noa, who looks back, surprised it has come to this. She looks forward, her expression a mix of shock and anticipation. Their faces draw closer, hearts pounding audibly in the tense silence. Kamohashi covers her eyes but peeks, exclaiming at how shameless it is. Their lips are just about to meet, the tension at its absolute peak. Suddenly, Noa's hand shoots up, covering Hayato's mouth at the last second. She gently presses her lips to his cheek instead, surprising him. Pulling back, she shouts that a kiss on the lips is for another time. Kamohashi and Toneri are left bewildered, asking what just happened. Hayato stands there, a look of pure, quiet satisfaction on his face. Later, Noa shyly looks at Hayato, holding a can of beer. She asks him if he would like to go on a date tomorrow. He shouts an enthusiastic yes without a moment's hesitation. The next day, he drives them, mentioning they're near his family's home. He suggests they stretch their legs for a bit while they are in the area. Noah excitedly pops her head out the window, taking in the scenery. He pulls the car up to their destination with a soft stop. Noah marvels at a massive building, surprised it exists in the countryside. She is immediately struck by a powerful feeling she can't quite place. She declares the place exudes a strong, nostalgic hospitality. Looking at the directory, she calls it a classic countryside date spot. Hayato, however, begins listing off his very practical and mundane errands. He continues his list, mentioning buying summer items like a goldfish net. Frustrated by his lack of romance, Noah screams that he's a natural-born hospitality. A memory flashes back to a summer festival and a bowl of shaved ice. He recalls his determination to finally confess his feelings to her. The memory shows them close together, a moment of quiet intimacy. His internal monologue reveals his resolve to tell her how he feels. He remembers whispering that he likes her, and her surprised reaction. The flashback shows the moment he leaned in and kissed her. Noah's face in the memory is a mess of adorable, flustered embarrassment. He recalls resting his head on her lap, murmuring that he likes her. Kamahashi's spectral form appears, scolding him for not being able to kiss properly. She berates him for his selfishness and not considering Noah's feelings directly. Her words hit him with the force of a revelation, making him realize his mistake. The god accuses him of only thinking about his own interests and desires. The scolding snaps him out of his reverie, his posture slumping in realization. With newfound determination, he knows he must convey his feelings properly. He decides it's not about marriage or observation, but about his true feelings. He turns to Noah and asks if there is anywhere she would like to go. Delighted, she playfully asks if he has any suggestions for their date. He smiles and suggests they visit a hospitality place, and she laughs with joy. A montage of their countryside date begins, each moment a new adventure. The scenes are filled with energy, capturing their shared experiences. Noah poses with boundless enthusiasm for a photo in front of a majestic castle. Inside a history museum, she expresses her contentment with the quiet atmosphere. At the bowling alley, her demonic power erupts in a chaotic multi-armed display. They share a moment of tranquility, sipping tea at a traditional cafe. In a local park, her excitement peaks as she discovers a peculiar mascot. She playfully pounces on the statue, explaining its unique, ruinously cute charm. Turning to Hayato, her face is radiant with pure, uninhibited joy. Watching her, he is struck by a sudden, profound realization of his feelings. A small, warm smile forms on his face, a silent acknowledgement of his affection. Later, he panics over a silverfish, but she calmly reassures him. Their exploration takes them past a traditional soba noodle shop. They continue their walk, passing by the sign for a local butcher. Hayato smiles, holding a bag of goods from the butcher shop. At an unmanned vegetable stand, she points at the produce with curiosity. The car's wheel spins, signaling the start of their journey home. In the car, she rests her head on his shoulder, peaceful after their date. He reflects on their happy day, knowing he still hasn't confessed properly. His courage fails, so he decides to make one last stop instead. He pulls over by a quiet, narrow river flowing through the deep countryside. She finds the rustic location a fitting souvenir for their hospitality day. He feels a bit flustered, thinking a river is a strange date finale. As twilight settles, a tiny flickering light catches their attention. She mistakes a firefly for a magic weapon, and he gently corrects her. He recalls an old saying about fireflies helping to convey feelings of love. He begins to list all the things he adores about her. He confesses his love for the way her eyes go wide with wonder. She is frozen in embarrassment as she overhears his heartfelt monologue. Overwhelmed, she stammers for him to stop, her face completely flushed. A caption notes that just 5 seconds ago, he was still speaking. He claps his hands over his face, mortified at having said his thoughts aloud. Noah becomes contemplative, recalling a past rejection she didn't understand. She questions if this comfortable, hospitality feeling she has with him is love. Hayato watches her patiently, his expression serious and understanding. Her confusion mounts as she struggles to define her new emotions. She asks how to categorize her feelings of love versus hospitality. She questions if humans really get married just because they like someone. She admits she doesn't understand any of these complex human emotions. She confesses that even after their date, her feelings remain unclear. He feels a pang of familiarity with her uncertainty about love. She admits his words of affection stir an irrepressible happiness within her. Lying on the riverbank, her spade-tipped tail twitches as she trails off. He watches her patiently, waiting for her to find her words. Her eyes show a dawning realization as she sits up with newfound clarity. With a confident smile, she boldly declares that she likes him too. He takes her hand, confirming that he likes her too, absolutely. His heart pounds in his chest as he leans in close to her. The sound of their heartbeats fills the air as their faces draw near. He breaks through her barrier and kisses her decisively. The emotional toll of the day hits him, and he collapses, utterly spent. A new chapter begins in a rustic, overgrown corner of the countryside. A cicada's loud chirping signals the height of a sweltering summer. A simple but idyllic breakfast of toast and jam is laid out. Hayato suggests they should do something that feels summer-like. Noah enthusiastically agrees while taking a large bite of her toast. He explains the human tradition of summer vacation and picture diaries. She is captivated, wanting to experience such a horribitary thing. He clarifies they'll be hosting, so they must create their own summer fun. Their first activity is to enjoy the vibrant home vegetable garden. Her hand with black nails plucks a ripe tomato from the vine. He imagines them eating fresh vegetables from their garden every day. She agrees it feels very summer-like, reminiscent of a grandmother's field. She is impressed by the powerful life force of the growing plants. Hayato points out the various vegetables they are cultivating. She struggles to pull a large daikon radish from the earth. Realizing she's not suited for harvesting, he suggests a different task. A close-up on the spigot hints at her impending mischievous idea. She gleefully unleashes a powerful jet of water directly at him. He laughs, trying to regain control of the hose from her playful grasp. She douses him again, her face radiant with pure, uninhibited laughter. He freezes, realizing her thin white clothes have become transparent. She looks down, innocently asking why he is staring at her like that. Later on the veranda, he lights a traditional green mosquito coil. She questions the morality of exterminating insects without responsibility. He dismisses her concerns and offers to bring out that thing. She watches as he moves to slide open a shoji screen door. He dramatically unveils a large translucent mosquito net. Inside the net, he explains it's an excellent barrier against bugs. She notes that something is indeed trying to get in from the outside. His mind wanders to the intimacy of being alone with her. He thinks the closeness makes them feel like a married couple. She is completely at ease, unaware of his internal romantic turmoil. She remarks that it is her nature as a demon lord to monopolize things. The arrival of a delivery person suddenly startles them. He frantically tries to shush her from within the mosquito net. They share a look after he steps out to receive the package. The delivery person calls out, announcing that he has a package. He politely thanks the delivery person at the door. He wryly comments that this interruption was their third summer activity. The afternoon begins with her hair still damp and wrapped in a towel. She chugs a can of beer with gusto and refreshment. He exclaims in amusement at her drinking in the middle of the day. She casually uses her foot to switch on a nearby fan. A simple summer meal of tomatoes and edamame sits on the table. She declares that summer activities require a certain mood to be enjoyed. They decide to sit down together and plan the rest of their summer. He jots down ideas, and she gets excited about a fireworks festival. He also suggests they could make nagashi sumen together. He reminds her that the sea is right in front of their house. Hayato's mind drifts to a fantasy of Noah in a swimsuit, her name on his lips. Shaking his head, he decides to put the thought aside for now to avoid rushing things. A can of beer and snacks sit on the veranda, setting a relaxed summer afternoon scene. With her fangs showing, Noah lets out a long, contented sigh of satisfaction. She comments on how flirtatious they've been, causing Hayato to spit out his drink in surprise. Blushing, he muses that the summer heat seems to make people more open and uninhibited. Noah agrees, suggesting that they should seize the rare opportunity before them. Leaning in closer, she says it would be fine to be even more open with each other. He agrees that the moment feels perfectly summer-like, his own face flushing. She whispers that everything smells nice in the warm afternoon air. In a tender moment, they lean in and share a heartfelt kiss on the sunlit veranda. The kiss is shown in a close-up, emphasizing the gentle intimacy of the shared moment. Noah's playful side returns as she gleefully grabs Hayato's face, squishing his cheeks. Completely flustered by her affectionate teasing, he quickly covers his face with his hands. A view of the traditional house's exterior provides a moment of quiet transition. She sits back, agreeing they did a good summer-like thing together. With satisfaction, she states that she was able to destroy him well today. Her expression then turns serious as she remarks on the beautiful decay of the land. Hayato looks out at the scenery and soberly agrees with her poignant observation. A massive mushroom cloud blooms, prompting contradictory exclamations about summer from them both. A new chapter begins, showing a serene summer view of the sea from the house. The scene shifts to the bright blue water and fishing boats at the local pier. Hayato is suddenly hit with a spray of seawater, his face a mask of pure shock. His eyes wide, he shouts in disbelief that she is actually wearing a swimsuit. Noah strikes a confident pose in her batwing bikini, declaring it feels amazing. Completely captivated by the sight, Hayato sees her as a divine blessing. As he approaches in the water, she admits that wearing the swimsuit is quite embarrassing. He quickly reassures her that she looks great in it. Her confidence restored, she decides to forget horrible activity and just have fun for the day. With a cheerful cry, she turns and runs deeper into the ocean, leaving him behind. Stopping suddenly, she confesses with a panicked look that she might not actually know how to swim. Her mind fills with dramatic images of her battling monstrous sea creatures. She imagines the oceans of the demon world are filled with terrifying tentacles. Hayato confidently tells her to leave it to him, boasting of his swimming lessons. To distract her, he shows her a sand dollar he found in the shallow water. He gently takes her hands, instructing her to try floating on her back. Next, he tells her to kick her feet, guiding her through the basic motions. Her powerful demonic kick sends a massive geyser of water erupting from the sea. The force of the kick sends Hayato flying as Noah realizes she misjudged her strength. From the shore, two other girls laugh, remarking that she's finally getting the hang of it. Dazed and floating aimlessly, Hayato looks on as Noah approaches him. He is startled to see dark, swirling demonic markings appearing on her skin. When he asks what they are, she quickly reassures him that it's fine. The embarrassment of the whole situation suddenly overwhelms her and she covers her face. They both stand in the water, overcome with a wave of mutual shame. She wonders aloud why she gets so incredibly flustered in front of him. Their awkward moment is interrupted by a call from their friends at a beach barbecue. The grill sizzles with fresh seafood, ready for them to eat. Hayato realizes with a start that they've begun grilling without him. As they walk towards the BBQ, he gently takes her hand in his. The girl in the cap teases him for enjoying his time with his wife. Noah freezes, the word making her realize she might actually like him. The term waifu hits her with 10 times the embarrassment of simply being liked. She is left utterly speechless and beet red, her mind reeling from the shock. Noah touches her lips, murmuring that the sensation of their kiss was like a star chart. The girl in the cap pats her friend's head, explaining Noah is just very conscious of the moment. Watching her, Hayato thinks to himself that her flustered state is incredibly cute. Their friend declares that a kiss is a big deal and they haven't resolved it yet. She argues that such an ambiguous relationship is just a matter of convenience for him. Noah looks on with a flat, unimpressed expression, unmoved by the accusation. With a blush, she confirms that she did in fact kiss him. Hayato looks flustered as the girl whispers to him about the situation. The sharp-toothed girl demands he take responsibility for kissing the demon lord. Noah and the other girl erupt with a dark, powerful aura as they face off. The confrontation is revealed to be a dramatic setup for a game of watermelon splitting. The fanged girl explains the rules of their competitive, partner-based game. Hayato and the other girl look on, still confused by the sudden intensity. The two blindfolded participants stand ready as their friends prepare to guide them. The girl in the cap regrets starting the game before settling their romantic issues. Blindfolded, Hayato worries about getting hurt, especially as a teacher. Noah suddenly grabs him from behind, commanding him to follow her lead. She pulls him close, her body pressed against his back to guide him. Leaning in, she whispers the word pervert directly into his ear. The unexpected insult sends him stumbling backward in pure shock. He loses his balance completely and crashes into the ocean with a huge splash. The game descends into chaos as the other girls continue to play on their own. A large splash emphasizes the chaotic end to his turn in the game. In the distance, a lone fisherman works, oblivious to the beach shenanigans. Hayato emerges from the water, sputtering and soaked from his fall. Noah calls out to him, now playfully wearing his glasses on her own face. She sits on top of him, declaring the glasses are now the Demon Lord's water-repellent pair. Lying on the sand, he apologizes profusely for the chaotic turn of events. He admits that her dominant actions were a little embarrassing for him. Noah shouts that she's the one who's truly embarrassed by the whole situation. She confesses that ever since their kiss, her heart races whenever he is near. She clenches her fists, the memory of the moment still affecting her deeply. Leaning close, she admits she feels much better when she's the one taking the initiative. He agrees, saying he also prefers it when she's the one in control. She makes a playful peace sign, a new unspoken understanding reached between them. The word pervert is spoken again, this time affectionately with a heart. Their friends observe the blatant flirting while enjoying slices of watermelon. The scene shifts to a later time, a look of deep torment on Noah's face. A new chapter begins with Noah huddled in a corner looking utterly dejected. Hayato looks on, concerned by her sudden and dramatic change in mood. She mutters to herself about a simple-minded doll, confusing him further. The memory of whatever happened clearly continues to haunt her as she trembles. An old man arrives and cheerfully feeds Hayato a piece of food with chopsticks. Hayato is ecstatic, declaring the food is 10,000 times more delicious than usual. The old man suddenly yells at Hayato, calling him the fallen demon lord. Noah points in shock, realizing the old man is the demon lord he was referring to. A demon girl named Noah reacts with wide-eyed shock, processing a sudden thought. Her expression shifts to comic fury as she considers the idea of being a simple-minded demon lord. The scene briefly cuts to a quiet vertical view of a traditional sliding door. A thought bubble reveals her wondering if she somehow created this impression herself. She erupts in a fanged scream, vehemently denying that she is easily swayed. Calming slightly, she crosses her arms, insisting her true nature is haughty. A flashback shows her gleefully ordering around other demons during her school days. Noah questions Hayato as he prepares to leave, asking where he is headed. He explains his summer vacation duties, needing to check on students at the school. As he speaks, he is comically struck by a watermelon thrown his way. With a determined pout, Noah insists that she will be going with him. The shot focuses on the sun-drenched, weathered gable of the old-school building. A lush trellis covered in vines and hanging gourds stands in the schoolyard. Hayato and Noah stand in the heat, fanning themselves near the vibrant plants. She curiously asks about the gourds, and he identifies them as loofah. Holding a bottle of loofah lotion, she playfully suggests they could use it in the bath. She grabs him, declaring with a laugh that it's too early for them to bathe together. Her expression is sly and teasing as she contemplates the idea. She muses about waiting 200 or 300 years, leaving Hayato baffled. Inside a coop, two large white chickens rest peacefully in the straw. Noah points excitedly at the birds, her curiosity piqued. She happily imagines the chickens being prepared for a delicious meal. Hayato points out the strong white rooster, explaining the children named it. His attention then shifts to a small, fluffy white chick pecking at the ground. A dreadful realization dawns on Noah as she asks about the chick's name. She explodes in horror, convinced the chick's name, Koroi, is a direct mockery. Hayato frantically tries to explain the name's innocent origin, but she is unconvinced. They stand in a moment of awkward silence, the misunderstanding hanging between them. Noah blushes, flustered and embarrassed despite his attempts to reassure her. Ji-chan's eye is shown in a close-up, having noticed something in the distance. The sound of his scooter starting up breaks the quiet afternoon. He drives up to the couple as they walk down a country road. Hayato shows Noah the carton of fresh eggs they received as a gift. The old man calls out, thinking he has spotted his relative. He drives closer, and both Hayato and Noah turn to greet him. He cheerfully comments on the two of them being on a date during work. He realizes the person he saw is not his grandchild after all. His expression turns sharp and serious as he confirms the person is gone. The group stands in an awkward moment, with the old man seeming annoyed. Noah offers to extend his life with her demonic blood, startling Hayato. Ji-chan simply hands the eggs to Hayato, wishing him good health. He bids them farewell, telling them to be careful as he drives away. He passes them on his scooter near a sign for a local temple. The scooter continues down the road, leaving the couple behind. A close-up reveals his knowing, slightly ominous expression as he looks back. His scooter becomes a small shape, disappearing into the cloudy sky. Back at home, the sound of sliding doors echoes through the quiet house. Noah is sprawled on the floor, completely drained from the day's emotional events. Hayato notes her lack of energy, deducing her pride has been deeply wounded. He has a fierce realization, deciding he must do something to restore her spirits. He reflects that a demon lord's pride is essential to their power. A small chibi Noah affirms this, claiming she is the type to destroy worlds. With a surge of energy, he resolves to praise her 100 times. He leans over her prone form, ready to begin his campaign of compliments. An old man, Ji-chan, arrives at their door, greeting them warmly. He holds up a cloth bag, explaining he brought a gift from his walk. Noah snacks on something, intrigued by this rustic cultural exchange. Ji-chan observes that Noah seems to be lacking her usual spirit. He stands outside, gazing at the overcast dawn sky, deep in thought. Hayato, now wearing an apron, stands ready to cook a special meal for Noah. He has a moment of realization about how to cheer her up. He presents a pot of 20-year-old miso made by his grandmother. He asks Noah to buy rice, explaining it's an old family tradition. With firm resolve, he prepares to cook a comforting, nostalgic dish. The ingredients for hiyajuru are laid out: fish, miso, tofu, and rice. The first step shows hands carefully flaking the meat from a grilled fish. Next, the fish is mashed into a savory paste with miso and sesame seeds. Dashi, tofu, and other garnishes are added to the rich mixture. The cold, flavorful broth is poured over a bowl of chilled rice. The beautifully prepared hiyajuru is served, looking cool and refreshing. Noah's eyes fly open in delight as she exclaims her ultimate approval. Hayato smiles, noting how refreshing the meal is, even outside of summer. He offers her a side of grilled eggplant, his personal addition to the dish. He reveals that this is the very last miso his grandmother ever made. Noah is struck by the preciousness of the meal, her expression softening. Ji-chan remarks that the meal seems to have restored Noah's energy. A close-up shows her mouth, a silent and eager request for more food. Her sharp, fanged teeth are visible as she opens her mouth slightly. She closes her eyes in anticipation, asking for another bite. Hayato gently feeds her a spoonful from his own bowl. With a contented sigh, she declares the flavor of horribility is beautiful. She muses that this dish has a power to make her feel a certain way. Hayato agrees that the nostalgic feeling is an unavoidable part of the taste. A memory of his grandmother appears, connecting her love to the flavor. Hayato bursts in, triumphantly hoisting a huge stalk of bamboo. Noah, caught mid-snack, looks up at him in surprise. She realizes with dawning excitement their plan to make Nagashi Somen. A title page shows Noah with a small toy introducing the new chapter. Her spade-tipped tail twitches with excitement for their summer project. Hayato excitedly presents his handwritten things to do in summer list. He passionately declares they'll enjoy summer to feel beautiful horribility. Split bamboo stalks and tools are laid out on the ground, ready for construction. He asks Noah to help him by tying the bamboo pieces together. She salutes with a confident, fanged grin, accepting the task. Her hands, with black painted nails, begin to awkwardly tie the rope. She struggles with the knot, her movements clumsy and ineffective. The attempt ends in a chaotic failure, the rope and bamboo a mess. She overthinks the task, lost in a sea of complex equations. Hayato gently offers to teach her, seeing her continued struggle. She gets a small cut on her finger, and he rushes to her side in concern. Hayato cries out in pain, clutching his thumb after a mishap with a hammer. With puffed cheeks and closed eyes, Noah prepares a surprising remedy for his injury. She unexpectedly takes his injured thumb in her mouth, licking the wound as he gasps. Miraculously healed, his thumb sparkles, leaving him baffled and her looking incredibly smug. She boasts about the potent effects of a demon lord's saliva, even for reattaching heads. A slightly embarrassed Hayato thanks her, and she promises not to use it on herself. She then attempts to heal his uninjured hand, much to his immediate alarm. Grabbing the hammer, she intends to injure him again, causing him to cry out in terror. Two mysterious figures, a rugged man and a uniformed girl, arrive with an imposing presence. Clinging to Hayato, Noah playfully introduces him as her husband to the newcomers. A group of local children peer from the side, observing the strange scene with curiosity. The children marvel at the girl's appearance, wondering if she is a foreigner. The uniformed girl offers a small, polite gift as a gesture of thanks. Unimpressed, Noah rejects the gift, clearly wanting something more practical instead. A local boy points out that several members of their project group are absent. Hayato cheerfully explains their plan to build a bamboo slide for flowing noodles. The boy angrily insists they can't proceed without the people who helped make it. A tense moment passes between Hayato and Noah amidst the brewing conflict. The detailed work of constructing the bamboo slide is shown in a close-up. The uniformed girl asks Noah where she comes from. Noah states it's the demon world. Misunderstanding, the girl asks if the demon world is a city, which Noah denies. Hayato's fantastical description of the demon world sends Noah into a silent panic. The uniformed girl is shocked, realizing the demon world is nothing like she imagined. Hayato frames the situation as a wonderful learning opportunity for his students. The girl asks Noah if she has anything to contribute to their current project. Flustered, Noah struggles to find an answer, feeling pressured to prove her worth. Her eyes widen with a sudden fierce determination as an idea forms. The kids declare that the bamboo's dignity is ruined and they should stop playing. The children agree that since it can't be used properly, they should just break it. Hayato turns to Noah, contemplating the idea of destroying their work to start over. In a burst of power, Noah shatters the entire bamboo structure with a single kick. The children stare in complete awe, amazed by her superhuman speed and strength. Overjoyed, Hayato embraces a blushing Noah, cheering enthusiastically for her success. Noah has a profound realization that destruction is simply one part of creation. He agrees with her, suggesting that maybe this is what she wanted all along. The children look on, completely shocked by the unexpected turn of events. The kids scold him for his poor teaching methods and threaten to go home. Hayato calmly invites everyone to stay and eat together before they leave. He smiles warmly, thinking about the flowing noodles they all made together. A close-up shows the prepared sumen noodles and dipping sauce ready for the meal. Everyone joyfully gathers around the new slide, happily catching and eating the noodles. One of the girls spots red-colored noodles flowing her way down the bamboo. Noah cheekily remarks that a blood-red color is perfectly fitting for a demon lord. Hayato looks on with a gentle smile as the children enjoy themselves. The sky is filled with soft clouds, marking a moment of quiet peace. The children happily eat and play around the completed bamboo structure. He reflects on the day, admitting that he was taught a lesson by the children. A wistful look crosses his face as he notes how few children there are now. Noah leans in close to a flustered Hayato, suggesting they do more than just make things. She playfully spanks him while telling him not to joke about such things. Looking demure, she muses that this beautiful countryside is an unsuitable stage for her. His eyes widen as he has a sudden, important realization about their situation. He remembers the moment just before he received a proposal to live together. Blushing, Noah considers how their relationship would naturally lead to them living together. She immediately panics over her own thoughts, flustered by the implication. The children depart from a gathering, saying their goodbyes as they leave. A two-car train makes its way down a single track through the countryside. Inside, a young woman with a camera confirms her expectations about the rural scenery. The train continues through the vast landscape, beginning the 10th chapter. Noah looks intensely annoyed, her brow furrowed at the incessant sound of cicadas. The train clatters to a halt at a quaint, weathered station named Tai Station. The deserted platform and old ticket window evoke a sleepy, midsummer atmosphere. Noah breaks the quiet with a theatrical stretch, bellowing her signature phrase. Her dramatic exclamation continues, her voice echoing through the quiet station. Inside, Hayato notes the bleak but nostalgic atmosphere of the station. He informs her that the next train is not scheduled to arrive for another hour. She asks if his statement means they are effectively stranded for the time being. He asks why she seems to be deliberately holding back her usual hospitality. She shyly admits she wanted to bring him somewhere they could just be together. A series of photographic memories begins to flash by. Noah looks over a collection of photographs from a recent gathering. Hayato is shown enthusiastically snapping photos, documenting their time together. He happily takes pictures of his cute demon wife and her demonic relatives. His focus is clear. He wants to get as many photos of Noah as possible. He asks for her opinion on the hospitality photos he has taken. She declares that she will never forget the feeling the experience gave her. Being embraced, she exclaims that the experience will live on inside her forever. She happily declares that the number of cute things in the world is growing. Her happy moment is suddenly interrupted by an unexpected arrival. A young woman with a camera accidentally bumps into another person and falls. The photographer scrambles to her feet, bowing her head in a flustered apology. The three of them stand together in the aftermath of the minor collision. Flustered by Noah's cuteness, the photographer apologizes profusely and Noah forgives her. The photographer is still flustered, admitting how cute she found the other person. With a smug expression, Noah magnanimously grants her forgiveness for the swiftness. Hayato recognizes the newcomer, identifying her as his cousin. She introduces herself, still flustered, as Takatsu Ayumi. Inside, Ayumi explains that she grew tired of her solitary life in Tokyo. Ayumi turns her attention to Noah, hesitantly asking who she is. As he explains, Noah whispers for him to proudly introduce her as his wife. Ayumi questions the word wife, so Noah proudly lists off other similar titles. Utterly mortified, Hayato bows deeply to Ayumi, apologizing for the confusion. Ayumi apologizes for intruding, but he insists it's his fault for not explaining. Trying to lighten the mood, Ayumi suggests a toast to their nest of love. While Hayato is embarrassed by the cheesy phrase, Noah is absolutely delighted. With a surge of energy, she declares it's a demon castle of love powering up. Ayumi looks on, amused by the dynamic between the slightly embarrassed couple. Her photographer instincts kick in, and she excitedly begins snapping pictures. She exclaims that this raw, fresh energy will make for incredible material. Her eye swirls with excitement as she realizes the potential of her new subject. A flustered Ayumi apologizes for getting carried away by the couple's cuteness. Noah playfully asks who was cuter, while Hayato insists it was her. Ayumi shyly confesses her long-held dream of becoming a manga artist. She recalls childhood gatherings, feeling she couldn't possibly create a manga about the countryside. Hayato wonders about a manga of their life, an idea Noah finds promising. Ayumi, however, prefers keeping the feeling of horobatality as a fleeting memory. Her statement makes Noah glare suspiciously, questioning her loyalty to their cause. Ayumi quickly grabs Hayato's hand, declaring her support as a horobatality friend. She then addresses him affectionately as her countryside big brother. With a puzzled expression, Ayumi asks the simple question of what horobatality is. Remembering her purpose, she asks if they would help her with a small favor. The group poses for a reference photo in a brightly lit room. Ayumi explains that background photos for her manga look better with people in them. A sudden, brilliant idea strikes Noah as she stands behind Hayato. In a flash of inspiration, a mischievous plan forms in her mind. She suddenly grabs Hayato from behind, asking if this pose will work for a photo. Noah then dips him in a dramatic pose before pulling him into a close embrace. Ayumi is stunned, thinking it's unusable, while Noah boasts about their marital closeness. With wide eyes, Ayumi realizes they are using her manga as an excuse to flirt. Shaking off her shock, she furiously snaps photos, finding the material perfect after all. Later, a dejected Ayumi crouches on the ground as the couple walks away. Hayato and Noah pass by, leaving the pensive Ayumi to her thoughts. She reflects that the sparse population of the countryside allows for such carefree moments. Getting carried away by her work, Ayumi apologizes for her enthusiasm. They all gather around to look at the photos she took on her camera. Noah cheerfully declares that her horobatality collaboration photos are the very best. Hayato agrees, adding the memories are etched in his heart, which seems to trouble Noah. Noah holds the camera, looking at it with a quiet, wistful smile. Standing in the train, Hayato holds up the camera, looking toward Ayumi. He takes one final picture of them posing happily together on the platform. Noah smiles contentedly, thinking that the picture turned out well. Hayato looks over at Noah with a gentle, slightly blushing expression. He calls out to a departing Ayumi, asking if she wants more photos. Ayumi flees, saying she can't impose, while Noah announces her Ji-chan is visiting. The next chapter begins with Hayato announcing his cousin Ayumi is coming to visit. Noah is immediately fired up, preparing to be acknowledged as the wife of the house. A close-up reveals her fierce, determined expression. Ayumi is already present, asking if she can photograph them working. She whispers for them to ignore her, as if she were a grain of sand. Hayato mentions he has some sushi from the local co-op ready for their guest. He also decides to make ohagi for his great uncle, which greatly excites Noah. The cooking process begins with him meticulously washing the azuki beans. He then boils the beans in a pressure cooker with sugar and salt. The cooked beans are mashed into a thick, sweet paste. He decides to simmer the paste just a little longer to perfect the consistency. With a triumphant flourish, he presents the finished heaping plate of sweet bean paste. Next, he prepares the rice by mixing two different types together. He cooks the rice without pressure, watching the pot carefully. The rice cooks perfectly, bubbling gently as steam rises. Hayato thinks the cooked rice looks good and is ready for the next step. Noah trembles with anticipation, eager for her part in the process. She enthusiastically demands that he let her help with the next stage. Hayato thinks about the half-killing of the rice, a destructive process he enjoys. He muses to himself that he certainly excels at the destroying part of cooking. Noah interrupts, wanting to do more than just show off her strength. A close-up captures her blushing, earnest expression. He places his hand over hers on the spoon, causing her to fluster. She earnestly proposes a joint operation, a phrase that confuses him. He agrees to do it together, standing close behind her in the kitchen. They share a tender, smiling moment before they begin to work. Ayumi gets comically tangled up while trying to photograph their intimate moment. The finished ohagi are served on plates, looking rustic and delicious. Blushing, Noah admits that a little of her dark magic might have slipped into the food. She takes a happy, contented bite of the sweet treat she helped make. The scene shifts to a quiet cemetery where they are paying respects at a family grave. The simple stone grave stands silently under the shade of a large tree. A new chapter begins, focusing on more of their varied summer experiences. Hayato thinks to himself that he would like to hold Noah's hand at the grave. Noah suggests making offerings and wonders about floating lanterns down a river. He reflects that modern Obon traditions have become much more simplified. A group of elderly villagers arrives, presenting Noah with a lavish array of offerings. Overwhelmed, Noah tells Hayato she doesn't know how to handle success. Nearby, Ayumi's friends suggest a test of courage, which immediately excites Noah. Ayumi's friend quietly notes how naturally Noah gets along with Hayato. Another girl in the group angrily protests the idea of a test of courage. She suggests taking a picture of a scary, dilapidated shrine instead of disturbing the graves. The angry girl is then comforted by her friend, while Ayumi looks on in shock. That night, Hayato and Noah walk through a dark, wooded area. Hayato is terrified, but Noah calmly thinks the walk itself is scary enough. With a powerful leap, Noah suddenly disappears into the dense bushes. She rustles around in the foliage, preparing her spooky surprise. Hayato calls out her name in alarm, peering into the dark undergrowth. Her sudden disappearance startles him completely. She bursts out, dressed as a mummy, letting out a booming, villainous laugh. Her dramatic entrance ends with her tripping and falling to the ground. Hayato rushes to her side, his fear replaced with concern as he asks if she's alright. He sighs in exasperation at her predictable clumsiness. Gently patting her head, he tells her plainly that she isn't scary. His simple, kind gesture immediately silences her protests and makes her blush. From a distance, Ayumi's friends watch the tender moment in disbelief. One of them wonders how he could possibly find that ridiculous cosplay endearing. Noah looks away, completely flustered by their interaction. A deep blush spreads across her face, her sharp fangs showing. She admits she honestly thought he would find her cute in the costume. Hayato quietly agrees with her assessment. A new chapter begins on a sunny day at a coastal pier. Hayato and another person are busy hauling in a large fishing net. He worries about Noah getting a sunburn in the intense summer heat. She reassures him that her body has different specifications than a human's. His persistent worry flusters her as a lone crow flies overhead. With a sultry look, the demonic girl teases her flustered companion about her tan lines. From the water, they haul up their fishing net, revealing an impressively large octopus. Holding their catch, Noah contemplates whether to make sashimi or takoyaki for dinner. He cheerfully suggests she should tenderize the octopus by beating it with a daikon radish. His bizarre advice shocks her, as she believes it's some kind of strange bridal ordeal. Later, during an evening walk, the young man stops, noticing something on the path. He sees a stag beetle has landed on Noah's shoulder, a coincidence she notes. The title page announces a new chapter focusing on their summer in the countryside. She recounts her day of chores and playing with children at a local candy store. Walking through tall grass, they express their contentment with the fulfilling day. A close-up reveals his ear as she speaks closely behind him on their walk. Her hand suddenly grips the back of his shirt with surprising playful force. With a cheerful cry, she leaps onto his back, startling him completely. She playfully insists she's tired and demands he give her a piggyback ride home. In a quiet moment, she rests her head contentedly against his neck. A blush appears on his face as he carries her through the twilight. The scene becomes a beautiful vista of him carrying her down the country road. He looks up at the sky and sincerely thanks her for spending these days with him. In response, she snuggles closer, tightening her embrace with a contented sigh. A new chapter begins with Noah standing beautifully amidst a field of tall sunflowers. The sun beats down on the roof of their traditional countryside home. With a bright wink, she calls out to her, "Dana-sama, ready for the day." He enthusiastically announces their first task, the district's beach cleanup event. Next on his list is a divine event being held at the local shrine. Noah maintains a sweet, agreeable smile, simply saying "oh" to his plans. He then adds a swimming event led by the local fire department to their schedule. Her response is another placid "oh," her expression unchanging and pleasant. Finally, he trails off, mentioning a meeting for the neighborhood association. She keeps her sweet, serene smile, though perhaps a bit overwhelmed by his energy. As the sun sets over the ocean, the mood shifts to one of quiet contemplation. Noah sits alone, looking pensive and a little downcast after their busy day. The man approaches her, noticing her quiet state and holding a small snack. He asks if something is wrong, observing that she seems different than usual. With a kind expression, he gently asks if there is anything she wants for dinner. As he speaks, she imagines a cookie, thinking of something with a rich flavor. He tries to guess, suggesting something made with milk, like a condensed sweet. He then suggests curry, and she considers the idea for a brief moment. When he asks if curry is okay, she reacts with dramatic, flustered shock. She yells, clarifying a misunderstanding between the words for curry and "it's okay." Back at the house, he admits to himself that she seems mentally taxed. He serves her a steaming, beautiful plate of homemade curry rice and miso soup. He asks if it's delicious, and she confirms, loving the golden home-style color. She then adopts a tsundere attitude, insisting the spices are just working well. Her act crumbles as she slams her empty plate down and demands a second helping. He thinks that her tsundere act is cute, but worries she is genuinely unhappy. He resolves that he must do something to properly cheer her up. The bright sun shines down on a utility pole in the quiet countryside. In a blur of motion, she turns, now dressed for the evening's festivities. Wearing a beautiful yukata, she calls out for him, ready for the festival. Their walk takes them along a rustic waterway where she spots a small rock dam. As they cross a bridge, he notices her mood has improved, wondering why. He reflects that because she is a demon lord, their situations are unusual. She muses that he doesn't truly understand what being a demon lord means. Her attention is caught by a bonfire, which she mistakes for a wildfire. The tall grass by the side of the road sways gently in the breeze. A gentle, content smile forms on her face as she enjoys their quiet exploration. She points out a dragonfly, a weasel, and the bonfire with childlike wonder. He watches her with a fond, blushing smile, amused by her endless curiosity. At a fire cistern, she asks if there are fish inside, baffling him. A thin plume of smoke rises into the sky from the distant bonfire. Their walk is interrupted by a young woman with a camera who greets them. He comments on how tough it must be to take photos in the heat. An idea strikes him, inviting the photographer along might cheer Noah up more. He kindly suggests that the photographer join them on their walk. Noah's hand with its sharp black nails moves with sudden decisive purpose. She forcefully clenches the back of his shirt, pulling him to a halt. Both the man and the photographer are frozen in surprise by her action. Noah's face is a mask of intense, blushing jealousy and possessiveness. The man tries to apologize to the photographer for the awkward situation. Understanding the mood, she flees, claiming she needs to go draw her manga. Noah looks away as if nothing happened, though the tension still lingers. A montage of memories flashes by, capturing the chaos and fun of their summer. A close-up shows the man's mouth, suggesting a heartfelt confession is coming. He gently asks Noah if she was perhaps feeling a bit jealous. His question is direct. He wonders if she wanted to be alone with him. She is completely caught off guard, her eyes wide with shocked disbelief. Erupting in a flustered denial, she insists that wasn't it at all. Her confident facade crumbles into a mix of anger and deep embarrassment. She's utterly mortified at being so easily read by him. Her face is flushed a deep red, her mouth forming a cute pout. He playfully presses on, asking if she's sure that wasn't the reason. She thinks about how terribly embarrassing the timing of his question is. Overwhelmed, she reverts to her demon lord persona, calling him a moron. He finds her flustered outburst endearing, letting out a delighted sound. She peeks at him, wondering if he's teasing or just genuinely dense. Seeing her distress, his expression softens as he reaches out to her. He makes a heartfelt promise to make more memories, just the two of them. The scene shows discarded festival game prizes, remnants of their shared fun. A series of panels depicts the locking of doors and windows for the night. They playfully declare their home a flirt barrier, a private space. He playfully holds her from behind, both of them laughing in a tender moment. He whispers that someday he wants her to remember this happy, simple day. She looks at him, her eyes filled with a complex, gentle emotion. Blushing furiously, she tells him it's too embarrassing to talk about such things. The scene abruptly cuts to a monstrous tanuki-like creature in a fantasy world. A young woman in a military uniform looks on with terror and determination. She and a young man draw their swords, ready to face the snarling beast. The story returns to their quiet home, a phone resting on the floor. The next morning, they do synchronized radio exercises in their living room. The whimsical fish wallpaper provides a cheerful backdrop to their morning routine. Noah stretches blissfully, exclaiming how good she feels now that the fireworks are over. Standing together, she and Hayato gaze out at the sky in a moment of peace. She turns to him, asking with a serious expression if they will do this again next summer. Looking up at the clouds, he warmly promises that of course they will be together. On their veranda, he wonders aloud about their single summer life, planning for 60 more. He tells the sleepy Noah she must join him for morning exercises when she can wake up. The refrigerator door swings open, revealing a collection of drinks and food containers inside. Peeking in, he dramatically announces a disaster as she wonders if the world is ending. He reveals the crisis. They are out of barley tea, kalpis, and cider. Noah suggests beer, but he warns that rehydrating with alcohol is a dangerous idea. Since he has to drive to school, he announces he will make a drink from scratch. With a flourish, he presents a single, serrated green leaf as the key ingredient. He cheerfully reveals his plan to make shiso juice, much to Noah's fascination. The process begins with him washing and boiling a bundle of red shiso leaves. He then strains the dark liquid from the wilted leaves through a fine mesh sieve. With Noah watching, he adds sugar to the brew and places it on low heat. The final magical step is adding citric acid to the dark, murky liquid. Noah's eyes go wide in amazement as the drink brilliantly transforms into a ruby red. He ladles the finished, vibrant juice from the pot as she watches with anticipation. She takes a huge, satisfying gulp, letting out a loud sound of pure refreshment. The sweet and sour taste of the iced drink is incredibly refreshing and delicious. He smiles, explaining that for him, red shiso is a flavor that signals early summer. A small inset shows Noah's blank stare as he talks about the seasonal drink. He suddenly remembers he must go to work, promising to drink beer with her later. Alone, Noah calmly stirs the ice in her glass of freshly made shiso juice. A gentle, contented smile spreads across her face as she enjoys the quiet moment. At his school, Hayato is hard at work, surrounded by stacks of books and papers. His gaze drifts over to a bulletin board covered in notices and student artwork. He spots a poster announcing the upcoming July fireworks festival, planting an idea. Later, returning home with a small bag, he hopes Noah will like his gift. He stops dead, surprised by the sight of Noah waiting for him in the garden. From her pointed ear, a small sound of acknowledgement escapes as she notices him. She greets him with a radiant smile, welcoming her master home in a beautiful white dress. He is so stunned by her appearance that he drops the pinwheel he was holding. Utterly captivated, he exclaims that she looks absolutely stunning in her white dress. He asks why she suddenly decided to dress up so elegantly for his return. Blushing, she explains that he once said he liked white, so she wore it for him. Overcome with emotion, he is struck by her thoughtful and touching gesture. He sees her as a gentle summer fairy, a magical vision in the garden. His gaze then falls upon a plastic shopping bag nestled in her flower basket. He asks what is in the bag from Inaka Mart, a small mystery in the air. That night, Noah watches a sparkler ignite, her eyes wide with wonder at the bright sparks. The shower of light is beautiful but fleeting, quickly dying down to a single ember. The last spark fades away into the darkness, its brief life now over. She holds up a new packet of fireworks, calling the experience an ephemeral horobatati. The combination of fireworks and the countryside at summer's end is almost too much. Overwhelmed, she clutches her arm, exclaiming that the stimulation is too intense for her. She finds the horobatati atmosphere to be beautiful but almost painfully potent. Hayato approaches with a bowl of shaved ice, suggesting she cool down with the treat. She takes a spoonful, feeding some to a flustered Hayato as they sit together. Another firework blooms in the dark, a quiet counterpoint to her emotional state. A bucket on the porch holds the spent sparklers, remnants of their evening fun. The distant pop of their remaining fireworks punctuates the quiet of the night. Hayato muses that wanting to be alone with someone is a special feeling. She listens intently, her expression serious as she processes his thoughtful words. He continues, explaining that what he feels for her is different from simple liking. He says that for him, his feeling for her is a special one, unlike any other. As he speaks, he realizes he has unconsciously let his true feelings show. His confession strikes her, and she realizes with a jolt that she feels love for him. A deep, knowing look passes between them as their feelings are finally understood. A single ember from a sparkler drifts down and extinguishes with a soft pop. She watches his back, feeling a mix of hope and anxiety about being his special partner. The possibility of their future together fills her with a powerful sense of anticipation. She wonders if she is allowed to harbor feelings other than her destructive nature. With her eyes closed, she whispers that she is feeling very anxious about it all. He looks at his phone, seemingly misinterpreting her mood in the quiet darkness. He offers to take a picture of the last sparkler for her, but she has a realization. As their sparklers touch, igniting in a combined burst of light, he moves closer. She is shocked, wondering if the sparklers have some kind of special combining ability. He leans in, his face just inches from hers in the soft, flickering light. He suddenly wraps his arms around her from behind, pulling her into a tight embrace. He murmurs that this doesn't solve anything, but only increases her hope and anxiety. Overwhelmed by his words and the gesture, she can only whisper a soft apology. He tells her that everything they feel, until it all fades, is horobatari. The tender moment shatters as she erupts in a comical, flailing tantrum, refusing to lose. She complains loudly that it's unfair, as her life as his wife is too happy. He simply smiles, weathering her outburst with a calm and amused expression. He tells her that if that's the case, she should just hug him back even tighter. They relax on the porch, enjoying a drink together in the comfortable silence. He promises to make many more wonderful memories with her during the autumn. The empty shaved ice bowl sits between them, a sweet remnant of their summer evening. A new chapter begins, focusing on the lingering heat of late summer and early autumn. On a bright day, Noah declares that it is the season for a horobatati hunt. She holds a popsicle, ready to search for the lingering feelings of summer. They walk together towards a dark tunnel, ready to begin their seasonal quest. She explains they are searching for the feeling of destruction that summer leaves behind. He questions if this is any different from summer itself as they walk. Looking towards the light, she wonders if such feelings can be found so far away. They emerge into a breathtaking view of a small, rustic seaside village. She points out the houses clustered so tightly they seem to lean on each other. She marvels at the weathered, sparkling red-tiled roofs of the old buildings. A white cat naps peacefully on an abandoned boat, adding to the tranquil atmosphere. Buzzing with excitement, she gives the village a horobatati rating of 4.5 stars. The man notes that this is outside his fishing collective's usual area. She eagerly tells him all about the day's events, not wanting to leave anything out. With a demonic grin, she jokes about a potential conflict with a neighboring settlement. He explains that this district's rougher nature is its own kind of horobatati. He muses that people might find it strange for him to be in such a place. A thought strikes her as she peeks out from behind him with a surprised expression. He tells her with a gentle smile that things would be simpler if she said she was his wife. A flustered Noah remains silent, crossing her arms with an annoyed pout. From inside, Hayato expresses his shame over the current situation. A red mailbox stands by the road, next to a questioning "Why?" The scene transitions with a thin floral patterned panel. A quiet country road is shown with a sound effect for a sudden stop. Noah pants from the climb, complaining about the steepness of the hill. Her eyes light up with a mischievous idea upon spotting an old bicycle. A nearby cat identifies the classic country trope of a downhill bike ride. With a mighty yell, she launches them down the hill with Hayato on back. He lets out a scream of terror as they rapidly descend the slope. Hayato's face is a mask of exhilaration and fear as they speed down. The moment briefly transforms into a nostalgic vision of them as students. Reality returns as Noah struggles frantically to control the wobbling bike. A leaf lands on Hayato's head as he notes his hair brush something. He wonders about the soft object he touched, looking toward Noah. Noah peeks curiously from behind a red, white, and blue striped pole. She is completely shocked by the strange presence of the barbershop. Popping out from behind a sign, she asks what a barbershop is. She thoughtfully ponders the purpose of the spinning pole object. Hayato expresses his surprise at finding a barbershop so far out. He explains that small villages have shops, but she finds the smells odd. Noah eagerly declares her intention to get her hair cut there someday. He is horrified by the thought, imagining her with goofy country hairstyles. A determined glint in her eye reveals a new plan is forming. She decides to cut his hair herself, looking up how to become a stylist. Hayato reflects on how much his life has changed since meeting her. He recalls taking up exercise and cooking just to see her happy. After making a grand proposal, he feels himself becoming healthier. He asks her how she feels, considering her busy life as a demon lord. A gentle, content smile forms on Hayato's face as he thinks. He wonders aloud if it's okay for her to no longer be a demon lord. He admits he almost returned to his old village and way of life. Noah warns him to stop talking nonsense or she will leave. Panicked, Hayato desperately calls out to his Dana-sama. She playfully pounces on him, nuzzling him with a happy "Nya." The actual cat looks on, annoyed at her affectionate display. Hayato, flustered but happy, gently strokes her head. He says that next summer will be fine too, looking at the scenery. Noah's hand with black nail polish touches a sweet bread roll. She takes a bite, exclaiming how sweet the bread is. He explains it's a low-carb roll with a gritty sugar substitute. They sit together quietly on a grassy hill under a cloudy sky. Noah laments that their hunt for an autumn atmosphere was a failure. A close-up on her eye reveals her deep disappointment. She erupts in frustration, yelling that there's no autumn feeling at all. Hayato calmly points out that the weather is still quite warm. He muses that the real autumn feeling won't arrive until October. She inspects his shirt, disappointed by its thin, modern material. He suggests that this lack of autumn is the true feeling of early autumn. Noah listens with a thoughtful expression, considering his words. He continues, explaining that this is simply how the seasons change. Understanding dawns on her as she touches the ground in realization. Her spade-tipped tail twitches with a surge of newfound energy. She leaps up, declaring that embracing the seasons is the countryside way. Hayato is taken aback by her sudden enthusiastic agreement. He jokes that it feels like 10,000 years since she arrived. A new idea strikes him as he turns to her. He announces there is something autumnal they can experience right now. A bloom of translucent jellyfish drifts gently through the water. He points them out, identifying them as a sign of the changing season. Noah rates the sight a 3.7, finding it a bit underwhelming. Hayato reflects on the soft, ephemeral feeling the creatures evoke. Noah suddenly points at something else, shouting in utter disbelief. A new chapter begins, showing Noah in a yukata at a festival stall. Her spade-tipped tail is cleverly wrapped around a container of sauce. At a meal, Noah happily eats some pickled vegetables with her chopsticks. Her face is a picture of pure contentment as she chews. Hayato watches her eat, a neutral expression on his face. She moves on to a bowl of rice, still eating with gusto. They sit opposite each other at the table, a box of tissues between them. Noah repeatedly steals food from Hayato's side of the table. He comments on how incredibly salty his grandmother's pickles are. Noah grimaces, finding the Demon Lord's diet unenviable. He reflects on the heavy use of salt, sugar, and oil in preserved foods. A determined glint appears in his eye as he decides to take action. He opens a large pickling container, announcing they will make their own. Noah inspects the container, impressed by his proactive attitude. She hugs the container, recognizing it as a home improvement store item. He explains his plan to make a rice bran pickling bed, a nuka doko. Noah is thrilled, declaring her desire to inherit this horribility. He begins mixing cucumbers, carrots, and eggplants into the rice bran. Noah watches with wide, fascinated eyes as he works. She gasps in shock as he pats the mixture with his bare hand. He asks if she wants to take over, but she quickly refuses. He explains that the bacteria on his hands might spoil the mix. He suggests they should mix their hands together in the bran. He awkwardly calls it a joint activity for a married couple. Noah misinterprets this as some kind of advanced kinky play. Hayato is bewildered, imagining a monstrous one-eyed pickle. Noah suddenly grabs his face, pulling him close. A large question mark appears as he wonders what is happening. She holds her hands up as if preparing for something. She then hugs him tightly, much to his surprise. To his horror, she shoves her hand straight into his mouth. She pulls her hand out, asking what that was all about. He notices his MP fluctuating, wondering if it's magic or mental points. Noah sternly declares that it stands for Mau Power, Demon Lord Power. She explains that consuming horribility increases her MP. However, being lovey-dovey causes her MP to decrease. Hayato is stunned, realizing their peaceful life has been draining her power. A flicker of understanding crosses Noah's face as a thought dawns on her. She panics, realizing their affection is just a means to restore her power. With fierce determination, she announces her resolve to reclaim her lost strength. It's time, she decides, to explain everything to her Dana-sama. She begins to recount her life as a demon lord before coming to this world. Her story paints a picture of the grand and imposing demon world. A flashback reveals her former self buried under mountains of tedious paperwork. Subordinates relentlessly deliver reports of endless tasks, meetings, and approvals. A hero suddenly appears in her throne room, declaring this her final moment. The heavily armored hero vows to seal her power and banish her forever. To his utter shock, she is ecstatic at the prospect of leaving. She joyfully remembers arriving in this new land, her power sealed away. Hayato listens to her tale, completely smitten and wanting to marry her. The memory overwhelms Noah, leaving her in a blush-filled, emotional daze. Lying on his lap, she explains how the hero's magic bound her power here. He leans over her, his expression serious as he listens intently. He whispers that he's actually grateful to the hero for bringing her to him. A question about her possibly returning home hangs unspoken in the air. Noah erupts in frustration, realizing their intimacy is now draining her MP. Hayato looks troubled, wondering what they could possibly do now. Seeking a solution, he brings her to a desolate, abandoned playground. Tall weeds grow through old, discarded tires half buried in the ground. A faded "keep out" sign hangs loosely from a rusty metal post. He explains that this abandoned park is the perfect place for her. Her true power, he clarifies, comes from things that are already in ruin. Her eye reflects a decaying spring rider as a look of understanding dawns. She ecstatically grabs a piece of rusty metal, marveling at its texture. Inhaling deeply, she notes the strong, metallic smell of decay around them. She rides the rusty spring rider with wild abandon, making it screech loudly. The nearby sandbox is completely overgrown, fully reclaimed by nature. A broken pole stands where a merry-go-round once spun with laughter. He realizes this is the true nature of a demon lord of ruin. Noah is left completely exhausted but spiritually energized by the experience. She happily reports that her energy has significantly recovered from the visit. He is stunned as she concludes they must now be lovey-dovey. His mind reels, trapped in the paradoxical logic of their relationship. In despair, he wonders how long this endless cycle will continue. Noah playfully reminds him this is the best way he can support her. He turns away, feeling a mix of guilt and uncertainty about how to proceed. His thoughts are a jumble of wanting to help but feeling completely lost. Her spade-tipped tail sways as she prepares to take decisive action. Suddenly, she leans in and plants a soft, gentle kiss on his lips. He is stunned into silence while she gazes at him with a sultry expression. She continues with a series of quick, teasing pecks, catching him off guard. He is completely overwhelmed by her sudden and forward display of affection. Flustered beyond words, he finally manages to ask what she is doing. With a predatory grin, she announces this is her new way of asking for help. He understands that her low MP has made her desperate and bold. A game-like status update confirms her magic power is still dropping. The scene shifts to a countryside road, beginning a new chapter on rice reaping. Noah excitedly hangs out the window of their small, moving truck. Their vehicle travels through vast golden fields of ripe rice. A one-eyed spirit observes that the land is overflowing with life and prosperity. She happily rides in the truck bed, declaring that a small dream has come true. She taps on the rear window to get Hayato's attention from the driver's seat. He glances in the rearview mirror, his expression a bit stressed. Her face is comically squished against the glass in a playful gesture. She continues to make silly faces, clearly enjoying the ride immensely. The truck bounces along the country road, full of vibrant energy. Despite her joy, her MP bar suddenly and dramatically drops. She feels her energy drain away, realizing she needs to be careful. Hayato has a sudden, serious epiphany as he continues to drive. He understands that this vibrant land is weakening her demonic power. The rules have flipped. He realizes affection now drains her MP. This new dynamic makes her lovey-dovey request even more complicated. They arrive at a field where children and adults have gathered for the harvest. One of the boys announces it's time to reap the rice they planted. Hayato cheerfully greets an old man, offering to help with the work. The old man says he was about to quit, but will continue for them. Noah, looking drained, weakly greets the old man from behind Hayato. Moments later, she's full of energy, proudly showing off her autumn clothes. She cheekily asks if she's being a public nuisance by bringing him along. Others comment on the unique, relaxed yet strict nature of the countryside. A girl with a camera excitedly snaps photos, finding the scene great material. Another girl scolds the photographer, reminding her she should be in school. The hard work begins with a sharp sickle slicing through rice stalks. A young girl works diligently, gathering a large bundle of rice. Dragonflies dance gracefully over the tops of the swaying golden stalks. Beautiful red spider lilies bloom brightly at the edge of the field. The entire community works together under the clear autumn sky. Noah stands alone in the field, letting out a long, satisfied sigh. With a huge fanged grin, she shouts her approval of the horribility. Hayato watches her from a distance with a warm, fond smile. She approaches him as he works, her spade-tipped tail twitching happily. He explains the traditional, almost forgotten farming methods they are using. These old ways, he notes, have nearly been lost to time. He has left the important task of tying the rice bundles to her. She holds a sickle with a look of fierce, almost feral determination. He leans in very close, whispering that he enjoys this proximity. Startled and flustered, she tells him not to get so close while she works. She glances at him from the corner of her eye, a faint blush on her cheeks. The local children gather around Hayato, looking up to him admiringly. He smiles warmly at them, the very picture of a beloved teacher. Seeing this, Noah's MP drops while her jealousy and arousal spike. He continues to interact warmly with the children, oblivious to her mood. Noah watches from the background, her irritation visibly growing. She appears behind him with a monstrous, jealous expression on her face. He finds her furiously stomping on rice stalks, which she claims is pleasant. He agrees with her, noting that it is indeed a nice feeling underfoot. He suddenly realizes her odd behavior is a direct result of her jealousy. Hayato panics, worrying that Noah's demon lord nature intensifies as her MP rises. He vividly recalls a past manifestation of her intimidating power. The thought of her becoming a haughty, sadistic demon girl is surprisingly appealing to him. Standing in the field, he reasons that her condition naturally fluctuates since she isn't human. He quietly resolves to simply stand back and watch over her. An older man, Ji-chan, calls everyone over for a well-deserved break from the harvest. He opens a large box presenting a bounty of freshly made onigiri to the group. A close-up reveals the fluffy, perfectly shaped rice balls nestled together. The old man announces the special filling is a local delicacy, akebi miso. The entire group, including Hayato and Noah, eagerly devours the delicious meal. While chewing, Hayato turns and addresses Noah with the formal title, Dana-sama. He then offers her an intimate bite from his own rice ball. A nervous sweat beads on Hayato's face as he makes the gesture. Noah has a shocking realization. Being affectionate now causes her MP to decrease. A terrifying monster made of twisted rice stalks erupts from the ground. Noah calmly places a finger near a shocked Ayumi's lips, silencing her. Ayumi and another girl can only stare in utter disbelief at the scene. The sudden chaos leaves Hayato completely stunned and speechless. Noah cheerfully explains her dark dragon familiar ate a small monster off her cheek. Hayato worries if her reawakening demonic instincts are too much for her to control. The small dragon familiar suddenly turns and bites down hard on her arm. She lets out a sharp cry of pain from the unexpected attack. Ayumi panics, telling them to stop their public flirting and calm down. Noah gently places her finger on Ayumi's lips, shushing her with a quiet command. She gives Ayumi a seductive, knowing look as she licks her own lips. With a confident wink, she declares this is how things will be, captivating Ayumi. A sporty girl on the ground complains weakly about a god seed. She angrily stands up, completely rejecting any offers of help. She tells them to go home if they can't manage to get along. Noah smirks, remarking that a thank you would have barely restored her MP anyway. The day's chaotic and intimate events begin to flood Noah's mind. She recalls a montage of their recent emotionally charged moments together. Overwhelmed by a wave of arousal and embarrassment, her mind races. Hayato calls out to her as she stands with her back turned to him. He approaches, asking what's wrong as she seems incredibly flustered. With a sudden goodbye, she dives headfirst into a large haystack. The scene shifts to the quiet traditional roofline of their home. A steamy, full bathtub waits in a tiled bathroom. Hayato soaks alone in the water, worrying about Noah's fluctuating MP. Elsewhere, Noah considers that it might be fine if her power never recovers. She blushes, recalling an embarrassing memory of him insisting she bathe first. Lost in thought, Hayato sits alone in the quiet bathroom. A sudden noise from the door startles him from his reverie. The bathroom door slides open with a loud rattling clatter. Noah bursts in and throws a basin of water directly at him. Her face is a mask of mischievous and determined energy. She leaps into the tub and grabs him, demanding he pour hot water on her. Her fully clothed body presses against his in the chaotic splash. He protests, completely bewildered by her sudden and bizarre actions. Despite his confusion, he feels a strange sense of bliss in her arms. Noah lets out a sigh of relief, her intense arousal finally subsiding. The scene changes to autumn, a bamboo broom sweeping colorful fallen leaves. The mountains are shown in the distance, their leaves changing color. A cricket chirps loudly amidst the dry, rustling leaves on the ground. The rustic village rooftops create a nostalgic, sepia-toned atmosphere. Hayato begins to narrate the change of season as Noah smiles happily. She excitedly shows off her new, stylish autumn outfit. A close-up highlights the cozy white cardigan she wears. Hayato smiles, remarking that her good mood is uplifting. She declares that the crisp autumn atmosphere alone is enough to raise her MP. He worries internally that her MP plummets just as quickly as it rises. Her emotional instability grows, becoming a source of deep concern for him. While sweeping, Hayato notices something strange on the ground. He steps on what appears to be shards of shattered glass. Noah leans on his shoulder, asking if it's like the time she split the sky. A figure crashes down from above with tremendous force. Hayato and Noah are thrown backward by the shockwave, their faces stunned. An imposing figure stands tall amidst the debris. A subordinate whispers the title Demon Lord in fear and awe. The newcomer Noroku declares that she has finally found them. She extends a gloved hand, stating that it is time to return. Her sharp gaze is fixed on her target, intent on a journey to the demon world. Noroku's stern demeanor melts as she showers Noah with affectionate head pats. Hayato watches the bizarre display, completely confused by the sudden change. Noroku then turns and nuzzles Hayato's cheek like a cat. She becomes serious again, urging her Jashin-sama to escape with her. Noah looks shocked and confused by Noroku's frantic actions. Hayato calls out for them to wait as Noroku tries to pull Noah away. Noah defiantly pulls her hand free from Noroku's grasp, refusing to be moved. She confirms that Noroku was indeed her subordinate in the demon world. The mention of her past seems to jog her memory. With a fierce roar, she refuses to return, shouting that she will not work. She reminds Noroku that she was exiled to this world by a hero. Noroku insists they will find a way to force her back, regardless of her wishes. Hayato reflects that he is not surprised someone from the demon world came for Noah. He admits to himself that he always expected this day might come. He decides this is the perfect time to show off the appeal of their home. His plan is to convince Noroku of the land's good qualities. He begins to describe the mountains, the river, and their quiet house. He believes Noah has grown too attached to their life to leave, especially alone. He turns and gently says Noah's name, his expression soft. He thinks to himself how much she has saved him since her arrival. His heartfelt words at such a tense moment make Noah incredibly flustered. She worries her MP will plummet from the emotional overload. Noroku fumes, shouting that she has finally caught up to them. She confronts Hayato directly, calling him out with a sharp tone. She declares this land a lie and a dangerous place for the Demon Lord. She reveals she has been observing them for several days before making contact. A flashback shows her cautious arrival at the house, heralded by a sound effect. She had stood outside, wondering if she should remain hidden from view. A mysterious gloved hand quietly slides open the door to a country home. Inside, Noroku is shocked to find the house unlocked and seemingly deserted. Noah's voice explains the countryside's tranquility is proof of her soothed spirit. An old woman suddenly appears asking Noroku for her name. Hiding in the grass, Noroku confirms she has found Noah. The woman cheerfully thrusts a heavy bag of sweet potatoes at Noroku. With overwhelming force, she insists that Noroku must stay for tea. Noroku grows suspicious, believing this kindness is a strange, disarming ploy. She is stunned by the sight of a massive feast, not just tea. Feeling completely outmatched, she succumbs to the powerful countryside hospitality. Noroku tries to pull Noah away, but Hayato insists he prefers this life. She then reveals that she made a promise. Her duty, she explains, is to witness the final days of this land. Hayato asks what she means by watching its destruction. Noah looks on, confused by the sudden and serious turn of events. Showing her sharp fangs, she expresses her deep embarrassment. She is utterly mortified by Hayato's casual mention of their marriage. The subordinate, shocked, asks her what is happening. Grabbing the subordinate, Noroku demands an explanation for the chaos. Overwhelmed by the situation, Noah collapses from the emotional overload. All three of them stand frozen in a tense and confusing standoff. Hayato firmly states that Noah has been his wife from the very beginning. He questions if Noroku intends to interfere with the Demon Lord's companion. Noroku repeats the word companion, looking utterly bewildered. He corrects her emphatically, clarifying that he said wife. The absurdity of the claim makes Noroku burst into derisive laughter. She calls his declaration a disrespectful joke worthy of beheading. Looking down, Noah blushes furiously from his public confession. Her emotional state becomes critical, reaching its absolute breaking point. From sheer embarrassment, she unleashes a massive wave of emotional energy. Hayato stands dazed, thinking he won, surrounded by the unconscious demons. Later, Noroku awakens to the comforting, smoky scent of something cooking. She is startled and disoriented, her face a mask of confusion. Noah's subordinate informs her that the Demon Lord is waiting. She is then told that the food is ready. The source of the aroma is a perfectly roasted sweet potato. Hayato apologizes for using the subordinate, but Noah happily allows it. Another girl savors the potato, exclaiming over its wonderful smoky fragrance. The subordinate proudly offers a piece directly to Noroku. With a curious expression, Noroku observes the simple offering. She takes a thoughtful, delicate bite of the warm food. Her verdict is delivered flatly. It is just a potato. A blindfolded girl suggests its very simplicity is what makes it so good. Standing alone, Noroku lets out a soft sound of contented agreement. Later, bound in ropes, she struggles and vows she will return. Glaring at Hayato, she refuses to ever acknowledge him. Noah calls out, confused by Noroku's sudden and dramatic departure. In a baffling turn, Noah impulsively plants a kiss on Hayato's cheek. The sheer force of the emotional display sends Noroku reeling back. Noah clings to Hayato, demanding another kiss as her MP plummets. The smoldering bonfire signifies a new, anxious element in their lives.